I didn't win. But I also won. Hi, and welcome to Quilt Meets World, where we have adventures in piecing and joy. I'm Russ, coming into my sewing room. So, Thursday, I found out that my HVAC company was holding a contest on the Book of Faces. It was an online entry where you just sent them a picture of your existing HVAC unit. It could be outside or inside. And you were entered into a drawing for a new HVAC unit. There were also second and third place prizes, which were like handyman services and junk hauling services. So I could have used any of those three, although my HVAC is still fine. But, I could always use an upgrade. It's like 15 years old. The drawing was held Monday morning, live on the Book of Faces, and I didn't win. But I am excited for those who did. It looked like there was probably I'm just going to say 50 people that had entries in there. So, chances, whatever they were, it didn't matter. But exciting news? I got a text message from their staff a couple hours later saying, you didn't win, sorry, but we want to offer you a complimentary maintenance membership that would give you maintenance for a year. And I'm like, I'm already a customer, and I just had my spring maintenance done and everything. But if they want to extend my membership, that would be awesome. So I'm getting 2 free visits from them to check out my HVAC unit. So yeah, score with that. I think that was pretty awesome of them. They didn't have to do that. They're like, when they come out for maintenance, it feels like all they're doing is just, measuring a couple electrical components and stuff. So they're not doing a lot. But I realized that, they had to take the time to get here, and they are spending some time here, and they do, clean the outside unit a couple times. So it's still a good value in my opinion. And, when something happens, almost 2 years ago when I was without air conditioner for 40 nights and 40 days, there is a minor discount that you get with some of that. So there's that. What is going on in here? Well, yeah, Friday I finished the binding on the baby quilt. I know, I procrastinated because, last minute, but work was a little crazy with stuff, so I couldn't do all the quality time in the sewing room. In fact, Friday, I was working to the last minute because we had to get some meetings scheduled. There's 13 meetings that had to be scheduled for this week, and shuffling things around to make sure everybody got their meetings, and it was a nightmare trying to figure everything out. We did have to shift a couple into the following week, but still, this week is full of meetings. Whatever. After we got all those meetings scheduled, I discovered somebody touched another one of my database tables that they shouldn't have. Again, everything matched stuff that we were expecting, and in this case, it's not impacting anything that's going in because they're related to stuff that was retired. So why they had to touch it, I don't know, but I don't care. It's retired stuff. They're not getting any data sent to it. So we're like, okay, yeah, whatever. We're just going to mark it that they did it. But I did, manage to get in here after I picked up Riley. I got the baby quilt binding done in plenty of time for show and tell. And by plenty of time, I think I finished about 8 o'clock at night, which meant I could watch some TV. Saturday morning was Saturday Sampler, so I brought the baby quilt in for show and tell. Everyone loved it, of course, but the big Tula fan, she wasn't around until the later session, so she only got to see it when she was posting the pictures later. But I'm sure she still loved it to pieces. After Saturday Sampler, I came into here and worked on the December gnome from Cotton Cuts for my Elevensies Live. That is the last gnome in the series, not just because it's December, because I did a lot of them out of order, but that was the 12th gnome that I did. So yeah, I'm very excited that they are done. And I was talking that, part of me was wondering if I should get the entire 4-piece set for the gnomes when I was looking at them. I'm glad I didn't, because I would still be working on these suckers. They're nice. Love them to pieces. The fact that they're pre-cut saves so much time, but it's just that daunting thing of them being on the list, and there are so many pieces that putting it together just became a little bit of a chore. Like I said, happy that they're going to be done. It just means that they are now moved from my to-do list to my to-quilt list, which that is still a little daunting. My plan for that is just to load all 12 of them up on the long arm at one time and throw them onto a pantograph and just do everything in one big swoop. So we will see when I get around to that. I know that they are going to be definitely they definitely need to be done by Christmas, because they are going to be good Christmas gifts. I did kind of giggle when I found out that my friend Sean over at The Guy Who Sews was working on the December gnome as well on his channel. I would brag that I got mine done faster than he did, but it's not a race. He does talk a lot more on his lives than I do. So there is all of that. But I did have to bring my seam ripper out. So maybe he sent some seam ripper mojo over to me or something. Saturday afternoon, I got my head examined. That's at least what I call my eye exams every year. I did tell my doc that, I'm ready to transition back to glasses. Contacts are nice. I love them to pieces. I love, being able to do this and still see, or do this, go upside down. Not that I'm an acrobat or anything, but, there's just that whole, I can be silly around the house with the fur kids and stuff, and I don't have to worry about a thing. But I do have a slight astigmatism, so when I get tired or my contacts start to get a little dry, my distance is not 100% clear. And I do need readers when I want to do focused up stuff, so binding, sewing here at my machine. And I've started to have to wear glasses a little bit at work just to be able to see. So it's like, I'm wearing glasses more than half my day at times. So I might as well just start accustomed to wearing them full time, because, I have everything that I would need. A couple months ago, I was talking with friends about the idea that I was going to transition to glasses. And someone mentioned Pair Eyewear for eyeglasses, because they have those little clip-on magnet things. Not sponsored. This is not a sponsored video. And I was like, So I Googled them and started searching, and I found one of those little magnetic clips that I really, really liked. And I like the frame, and they said that they can do all the prescription stuff. And I was, I told this to the folks at my eye doctor's office, and they were talking me out of ordering online. I know for their reason, it's, greedy, because they get the profit on oh my word, how expensive these glasses are. But, I was just like, but I really want them. And then I ended up talking myself out of the online purchase because I realized I'm getting trifocals, which is, I can see far. They've got the computer lenses in the middle-ish, and then for readers in the little focus area. And I've never worn anything but single focus lenses before. So I was like, I don't know if it's wise for me to have my first pair of glasses be online, because if I can't see out of them, I don't know how much of it is Russ is just looking wrong, or that they have the alignment off in the lenses, or what, because there's so many things that could happen. I like to think positively on them, but I also don't want to say I can't see out of these glasses. So I agreed to get glasses from my eye doctor, at least for this year. That way I can know exactly how the prescription is going to feel and how everything should be, so that next year when my prescription gets updated, at that point I will order online, because I'm going to tell you, the cost from my eye doctor was twice as much as from Pair Eyewear. And that includes the fact that my eye doctor took off dollars for the co-insurance stuff for my vision insurance. Pair Eyewear doesn't accept insurance, so I would have to file a claim. So I could have gotten a little bit more off of that. So yeah, again, not sponsored video, but yeah, glasses are expensive. I did still order a couple more boxes of contacts, or just 2 boxes. That way I can have some transition time. It gives me that opportunity. I can go pick up my glasses. I think I get them next week. We'll see when they call me. But then, there's a few things that I'm doing, at least this summer, that I'm like, I'm going to want to have contacts in, because, sunglasses and all that other stuff. So, I'm like, I'll do contacts for a brief period, transition over to my glasses, and then be on glasses for, the rest of eternity. Or at least I think it's until you end up having to get cataract surgery, and then they put like a lens in your eye, and they could either make it so that you can see clear further away or clear close up. I don't remember what I've heard, but I'm like, yeah, that's still many, many years down. And truth be told, I probably should have transitioned back to glasses a couple years ago. I've had times back when I was playing Pokemon Go, again, without readers and stuff, that I was just looking at my phone and be like, I can't read that number to know, how much time is left on a counter or something like that. I mean, the number was tiny, but it was also a lot difficult for me to focus on. It happens, when you hit 40, and I know most of my viewers are all significantly younger than 40. Yeah, that's it. But I'm sure people understand that that's about what happens. And I've also had times where I'm reading texts on my phone, or, going through a web page or something. And I'm like, this is just getting to be a little bit more difficult to just focus on. And I don't want to make my screen just that much bigger. So again, I see all the positives of it. They did ask me if I wanted to go into multifocal contacts, because apparently those exist, and those are dailies, not the whole night and day thing. And I'm like, if I'm gonna have to spend extra time every day putting my contacts in and out, that adds all this time to my routines. I'm just going to be lazy and go to classes. So laziness wins. Sunday, I ended up spending the afternoon on Zoom with my friend David as we chatted and sewed. There was a lot of stuff that we chit chatted about. I think we only ended up spending about, let's see, we only spent about 2 hours, so it's not the whole afternoon. But yeah, we were on there, and then afterwards had to get everything else ready for the day. But I did get the borders finished on the Star Cakes graduation quilt. It needs a really good pressing, which I'm planning on doing in the morning, and throw it on the long arm, which hopefully I can do tomorrow afternoon. We'll see. But that would mean that of all the 3 graduation quilts, if I can get that done, there's nothing left except for binding, which I got to figure out how I'm going to get that done in the next, few days. Monday, it was a good day because I got to give the baby quilt to the mama. I had brought it into the office because I know her schedule is usually, I think she usually does like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I think she told me, or maybe she says she does Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. Either way, I just happened to see her on Monday, which I didn't see her on Tuesday. So I don't follow people's schedules. It doesn't matter to me. And I was like, oh, you are here today. Hold on a second. So I ran back to my desk, grabbed the quilt, which I had packaged up really nicely. And I said, here, this is for the new baby. You can't hand me down a quilt. And she's opening it. She's like, I'm loving these colors and the fabrics and everything because, Tula pink, bright stuff. It's great. The exciting part, though, is she really loved the back. The print that I picked for the back, I just picked it randomly because I'm like, I want something that looks really cool. A lot of people like to do larger print on the back to, sometimes hide some stitching stuff, sometimes just give it more character and stuff. And the print that I picked from Tula Pink was her dahlias in the Untamed collection. Apparently, dahlias are the mom's favorite flower. So that was exciting. And not only is it just her favorite flower, but she has a tattoo of a dahlia on her. So she was very excited about it. And I was excited because, it was a pure happy accident that I made her a quilt that had her favorite flower in it. So how was your week? I do have a bit coming up. First things first, I will not have a live this Saturday. My friend Steven of the Idiot Quilter is hosting his spring retreat, and I will be attending it. His retreats are always a lot of fun, so if you haven't already, you need to sign up for it. Though, if you haven't signed up, registration is ending tonight, so you better hurry. Like I said, his retreats are a lot of fun. He's got some really awesome guest speakers lined up, and I'm just beyond excited to be able to go attend another one of his virtual retreats. After his retreat, I will be working on month 11 of Bumbleberry Pie over on my friend Stephanie Stitch's channel at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday. It is the last month of blocks, and technically they're not blocks, they're flying geese, but they're going side to side. So that's going to be a little fun and annoying to put together, but I'm kind of, excited. We are almost done. After this, I'm going to have to get all of my blocks together and decide if anything needs to be remade, and actually, finished last month, because that one was difficult on my brain. But I do know that there was a couple blocks that I did the star basically a mirror image of that direction. I'm still debating if I'm going to keep those like that or not. And then I think I might have one or two blocks that has the background inside out. So again, I have to decide if I want to redo any of that, because, putting it all together is going to happen not in May, but sometime in June, because I'm gone for the majority of May. And if I need to get things remade, I need to make sure that they are done. So Stephanie and I will work on a date that we will be able to come together and start putting it all together. So I'm very excited for that. And then this Sunday is the Kona Block of the Month day here on my channel. A few friends of mine and I, we will be sewing up April's block together, and I'm excited to see what everybody comes up with colors, because we are all given the same fabric pack, but we are all doing different backgrounds, and we're also picking different colors out of the fabric packs for our pieces. So I'm just very excited to see what we get. And the biggest excitement of them all is my friend David is coming into town. It may or may not be his birthday coming up. So he's like, I want to come into town and stay for about a week. And I'm like, oh, sure, come on. So he should be coming in Saturday afternoon sometime. So he may, pop his head in here and say hi on the retreat. Probably not, because I know the kind of craziness that he is. But yeah, I'm excited because there's a few places that we're going to go eat. He has a couple things that he wants to do while he's here, and I've got a few things that I'm like, well, while you're here, let's do this, And I think the best part was when he initially thought about his whole stuff, he's like, do you want to do Saturday Sampler the first Saturday in May instead of the third? And I was like, I have to do Saturday Sampler the first Saturday in May instead of the third, because I'm going to be out of town the third. So everything is just kind of coming together with this, and it's always a lot of fun when he comes and visits, and we will just, end up sitting on the couch, playing on our phones, barely talk to each other, because, that's the kind of friends we are. Anywho, I think that is going to be about it for today. Sharing my weekly shenanigans with y'all is, just the highlight of my week. If you wouldn't mind making the YouTube algorithm happy, that would rock. You can do things such as liking and sharing this video, commenting below, or, go running around and play. Okay, wait, now, who am I kidding? The only time I'm running is if a monster is chasing me, and even then, it's just a guy in a mask, and he would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for those meddling kids. Subscribing to my channel is free and a wonderful way of letting YouTube know you like my shenanigans. Ringing the bell icon next to the subscribe button gets you notified when I go live on Saturday mornings and upload other videos throughout the week. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and an awesome week. Until next time, stay happy and remember, always measure your life in love.